There you are. Just
Okay.
magically appear, unless people are listening to this just in audio, and then
Makes no difference whatsoever.
yeah, I think that was a good way to start because we've been having some technical issues with the setup. But how are you today, Kash? Apart from
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good.
are you
I mean, I've
annoyed
got my curtains covered. It just gets too bright, and then it's contrasting issues on the camera lens. This is
Yeah.
as good as it gets.
Are you in London still, or are you in
Yeah,
some
no,
kind
I'm
of
in London
crypto
now.
hideout somewhere?
No, I'm in London now. Back from my holiday in Iran, which was great.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun. I'm actually hoping to go back again soon. Because honestly, this time I didn't get to see much. We just spent so much time going to relatives' house, and then it's offensive if you don't go to this relative that you've never heard of's house before. So I didn't get to see much of Iran this time, but I'm definitely going to go back maybe by myself, see family for the first week, and then just explore for the rest of my holiday.
Were you just getting fed a lot and talk
I was eating, so I was getting food delivered home 3 times a day, every single day.
Wow.
I probably had over 30 takeaways. But
with
that's
your
because I was trying
family,
to
or
make the most of my time there, and I was just trying all the different foods, and it was so good.
Oh, that's cool. And do they have a similar kind of like takeaway food apps and stuff that we have
Yeah,
here?
so we have Uber Eats and like Just Eat. They have something called Grab. To be honest, it was I noticed that it's a lot faster, and of course it's cheaper because of our currency, but because of their conversion rate. But it's just much faster there. I think it's because maybe the shops are closer by, or because motorbikes don't stop at red lights, so they just just get there faster.
But just with the threat of life, maybe it makes your food taste better as well.
I just made sure to like tip everyone quite well, because it's just easy to do that because of the conversion rate. It's a lot of money for them, but not that much for us. Yeah.
So you lived like an emperor for a few weeks, basically.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
3 takeaways a day, tipping everyone like money doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Today, though, we're back in crypto world, and we haven't been here for about a month on the podcast, mainly because of my bad. Well, you were on holiday, I guess. So I
was on holiday, and so were you.
Let's not blame me and my organisation skills. We'll put the responsibility on you.
No worries at all.
I had to let you get all those takeaways.
How's your holiday, by the way?
It was good. I don't know if I talked about it on here, but I went to Corfu. I don't think you did. Yeah, it was really good. Friend got married there, swam in the sea a lot, ate a lot of food, went to nice beaches, and then I don't know, back in Devon now, and it's just raining quite a lot, which is nice.
There was a storm last night, and I've never seen rain like that before.
Yeah,
ever in London. It was crazy, and it was flooded outside, so I had to go out, get a broom and unblock the drains, and then suddenly just all the water just disappeared.
Surely, as a crypto millionaire, somebody else should be unblocking.
Nah, I don't like that sort of thing. I like to do it myself.
Yeah. So today we've got a few different topics. Number one being the Ethereum Merge, which is imminent, it seems, and we're going to talk about what that is, when it's happening, and the implications of it. We're talking about fees, which hopefully will be more exciting than the word fees, but and we're going to be talking as in crypto fees, and we're going to be talking about the British pound, which apparently has just reached a low that it hasn't seen since Margaret Thatcher or something like that.
Yeah, 1985.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen. If people are watching this on video, if you just give me a second. So Kash, as I'm doing that, could you just give people an overview of what the Ethereum Merge is?
Yeah, so the Ethereum Merge is essentially going to see Ethereum transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake. So at the moment, my screen is stuck. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah. So the way I understand it is Ethereum currently is proof of work. So you need a bunch of miners to validate transactions on a network, which is quite energy intensive. And, a lot of people have said that there are environmental issues with this. So after the merge happens, Ethereum will be transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake, which essentially allows users to validate transactions on the network by simply holding Ethereum in their wallets and staking it. There you go.
That's a nice summary. So can you see the page I'm sharing, or is that not working?
I can see it very zoomed in on sharing your screen.
Brilliant. How about now? Is it normal size?
For me, it hasn't changed. It's still. I feel like we're having technical issues.
Okay. Well, if anyone who's watching, imagine you can see the CoinDesk article that says the final countdown to Ethereum merge has officially begun. So it's saying here, and it also says on Vitalik's Twitter feed, Vitalik being one of the Ethereum founders, they reckon September the 13th to the 16th.
Yeah, so on September 6th, the Bellatrix upgrade was activated. What that is essentially they locked in the code for the Ethereum merge to happen. This depends on the certain block number, so that depends on there's not a set date for it to happen because it depends on the block number, which could happen on September 13th to 16th. Once that happens, Ethereum will officially transition away from proof of work to proof of stake, meaning it's more than 99% more energy efficient.
So it'll be like and Bitcoin is a proof of work cryptocurrency. So it takes physical energy, as in computers mining, the physical energy that goes into that, the electricity. That's the cost.
They require a lot of electricity to actually mine these Bitcoins. And Ethereum, as it currently stands, that is also the case for Ethereum. But come September 13th to 16th, it will be transitioning away from that and becoming 99% more energy efficient, which is good because then I think it will address many of the issues that people have raised about, the environmental impacts of this sort of technology.
I guess I got kind of three questions. One is like, how does that affect the average person who's wants to use Ethereum, I guess, and use the stuff on the platform? How will it affect Ethereum miners who are currently mining Ethereum with computer hardware? And then kind of how can somebody be part of that? How can they be part of the proof of staking? Sorry, I didn't ask those questions very well at all. But yeah, I guess implications first, like what,
so for the user, it wouldn't make a difference at all. They can simply just hold their coins on the exchange or in their wallets. And once the transition happens, it won't make a difference to them. I mean, there is potentially it is likely that while the merge is happening, exchanges will pause, withdrawals and deposits just to allow, the network to go through the merge without a hitch. So I think that is just something to expect. I think it has happened in the past with regards to other upgrades, and I think it's going to happen again. There's nothing to worry about for the end user. I don't think we need to do anything whatsoever. With regards to miners, yes, they will be losing out on the revenue that they are currently generating, which is why a lot of these miners have actually already started transitioning and moving towards Ethereum Classic, which is essentially a fork of Ethereum, which is still going to be proof of work.
And
so they're going to be moving away from that.
Ethereum Classic.
Sorry?
How popular is Ethereum Classic? Because there's a Bitcoin Classic.
In recent weeks and months, it's become a lot more popular.
Right.
Because these miners realize that they're essentially the main source of their income, which is mining from Ethereum, is going to be cut off come September 13th. So they're moving to alternatives, which is at the moment Ethereum Classic.
And I a while ago I read about being part of the proof of stake process, and it essentially involves like locking up, like holding quite a large amount of Ethereum, if I remember, and then locking it up on the network to help validate transactions, is my basic understanding, which I don't totally know.
Yeah, so as it currently stands, you can stake your Ethereum, but if you do so, then it will take months before you're able to withdraw it. So right now you can stake your coins on Binance, you can do it through different pools available online, but it will take many months for you to be able to withdraw your funds once the Ethereum merge happens. A lot of people think, as soon as the merge happens, a lot of this staked Ethereum is going to enter the market. But that's not the case. It's going to take many months. I think around 6 months for this. I think there's around $8 or $9 billion worth of Ethereum actually locked into the contract at the moment that is staked and earning some sort of interest.
I would have expected more Ethereum to be staked.
I think a lot of people are being cautious, They
Right,
want
okay.
the merge to go through
Right.
before that they commit to this sort of new contract.
And the reason you would stake is you get a percentage yield on your Ethereum. That's right, is it?
Yeah. Which brings us to our next topic, which is crypto fees.
Okay.
See if you can bring it up on the screen. Maybe we can have
Crypto fees. Go. Yeah, I'll see if I can bring. Let me give it a go. So, what is it about fees that?
So, Ethereum fees is crypto fees. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, brilliant.
Hope you can see me. There we go. Yeah. So, crypto fees is basically the fees or transaction fees that people pay for transactions to be validated on the network. So every time you make a transaction on Ethereum, you pay a certain fee to the miners to allow this transaction to go through. Same thing applies to all these other protocols, as you can see, SushiSwap, Bitcoin. Right at the very top is Ethereum, which means Ethereum is the most popular protocol and it's generating the most amount of revenue. So within the past 24 hours, it's generated around $3 million in fees. So once the Ethereum merge happens, instead of this figure going to the miners, it will be distributed to all the people who are staking on the network.
That's interesting. Okay, and because I remember reading like a percentage, the percentage yield that you might get for staking. It was something like between 7. Or maybe it was like 6 or 7%.
Yeah, 7 or 8%. And of course, if the protocol is used even more than that, may go up.
Okay, so this is really handy.
As you can see right now, the 7-day average fees is around 2.5 million, 3 million in the past 24 hours, and all of that will be distributed between all the stakers instead of miners.
Yeah, this is a really neat way of looking at, as it says at the top, like there's tons of crypto projects. Which ones are people actually paying to use?
And what's interesting is, if you notice, is that Ethereum is actually ranked much higher than Bitcoin. Is on average, I think it's generating 10 times more fees than Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, which is why a lot of people believe that, sometime in the future, Ethereum is actually going to overtake Bitcoin in terms of market cap because it's just much more utilized.
Do you think
as a blockchain?
Do you think that this is a good metric for thinking if things are sustainable, or like how would you use this metric if you were kind of analyzing?
I mean, you use this metric to see which protocols are actually being used. So the higher the ranking coin, the more it is actually being used. So as you can see right at the top is Ethereum. It's by far the most utilized platform. And then as you scroll down, you see all the others.
I got to say, I'm seeing some crypto with cash portfolio coins quite high up in the list here, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And did you want to talk about gas fees, or I guess that's essentially the same?
It's essentially related. So the gas fees right now, they're quite low. So before, during the bull market, each transaction you'd be paying around, you'd be paying around $30, $40, sometimes even $300 for a transaction to go through, because there was just so much competition for these. But right now, as you can see, I think it's around $1 to $2, which is much cheaper, and it's good to see.
Yeah, it was crazy at one point, wasn't it? It was like more, even actually when I first bought Bitcoin, like back in 2018, or no, I think maybe like a year or so later, I bought my parents like just some like a tenner each for Christmas or something, just as fun, and it cost me like more to send the Bitcoin to some wallets and paper wallets that I'd set up for them than it did to buy the Bitcoin in the first place. I was like, this is not not quite there yet.
Exactly, which is why we saw a lot of people go into alternative platforms such as Binance Smart Chain or Solana or Cardano, because they offer much cheaper fees.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of what, I guess I got two more questions about the Ethereum merge.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to Ethereum price action, the value of Ethereum, if anything? I mean, I guess that's my one question.
I think it's a very good question, and it is. I mean, there's two sides. A lot of people on the Ethereum side, Ethereum maxis, believe after the merge happens, the price of Ethereum is going to skyrocket, and it's going to essentially be the catalyst for a new bull market. Every bull market before this, the one that we just had, has had a catalyst related to Ethereum. So before it was ICOs, then it was DeFi, then there was the metaverse, NFTs, and a lot of people argue that the next catalyst to start the bull market will be the Ethereum merge. Others believe that it might be a buy the rumors, sell the news type event where people are buying Ethereum in anticipation of this event, and they will sell their holdings just before the merge goes through. It really is difficult to tell. I'm not a fortune teller. Personally speaking, I think given the backdrop of what's going on in the market, it's just not just in crypto, but also the stock market and just the cost of living crisis and inflation all over the world. I think it is personally, I'm thinking that we may have a sell-off just before it happens or directly after it happens. But, in the long run, the crypto markets are going to pick back up again and hit new all-time highs.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if this immediately kickstarted a bull market with all of the kind of cost of living stuff going on globally, or at least in the Western world. I assume everywhere. Yeah, it's hard to see, unless it was not retail investor led, I guess. I don't think the sentiment is there, but maybe institutions, I don't know, maybe there's...
there's blockchain explorers who and blockchain analysts who are actually looking to see what these large players are doing. And a lot of these funds they seem to be buying a lot of Ethereum at the moment. We can see that they're buying. We just don't know when exactly they're going to sell. Yeah. So it could be right before the event, right after, or perhaps they might even hold on because they believe it's going to go much higher.
So you think it could be, they could be buying around the event like they would kind of any kind of financial event to try and make some money.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Maybe we can talk about this next time and also look into it. Is what was happening in the crypto bear markets previously, like back in 2018, 2019, is institutions were stocking up, even though they were very negative. I remember JP Morgan and stuff like this were hugely negative in the press because I was writing something about it at the time. And then, is it Grayscale crypto fund?
Yeah, they were accumulating.
The investment in that was just going up and up, and it was almost I think I was calling it a crypto ghost trade or something. But it was the sentiment was that. So it's probably worth looking at what institutions are doing with their money now, whilst retail investors are very largely very negative, and understandably, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So the next and maybe final thing on our agenda to talk about today is the British pound. So why are we talking about the British pound, Kash, as I try and share my screen?
Well, that's because unfortunately the British pound has actually fallen to its lowest level against the dollar since 1985. And that's because the US dollar has just been on a tear. It's beating out all of the currencies in the world. Right now it's doing very well. I mean, it's not very good for stocks and cryptos. People are selling when the US dollar goes up, pretty much everything else goes down, including stocks and cryptos. And given the cost of living crisis that we have here and the situation with Europe and Ukraine and Russia, the pound has dropped severely against the dollar.
So is this good at all? I guess it's good if you're buying pounds, if you've got a load of dollars and you want to swap them into pounds.
I think one way, the only way this is good is in the sense that by following the US dollar, you can perhaps tell when markets are ready to rebound. So once the US dollar starts going down, then you can say, okay, potentially it's a good time to jump back into stocks and crypto. And they are in a way negatively correlated. So if you do compare the charts, if the US dollar goes up, then stocks and cryptos fall. When US dollar falls down, then cryptos and stocks start rallying.
So let me get that straight. So if the dollar's weakening, you probably see a rise in stocks and crypto.
Yeah.
But we're seeing the opposite right now.
Right now it's going up, so everything else is going down.
Okay, but it might be a good thing to keep an eye on. So if there is a reversal in that, then people might be wanting to take their money out of cash, out of dollars, and put it back into the stock market and crypto. Okay, cool. I guess my last question is, what are you doing anything around? How have you been handling sort of the Ethereum merge? Have you just been sort of steadily buying Ethereum?
I've just been buying every week, sort of thing. regardless of price. I've been trading here and there, just smaller size trades, because right now the market's uncertain. For example, a couple of days ago, people were like, okay, that was the bottom. We've already hit the bottom, and it's going to go up. And then literally a few moments later, if not a few minutes later, the market crashed. And right now, Ethereum is at 1,500. Bitcoin is just under 19,000. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes next. Some people believe that Bitcoin may be falling to around the $14,000 region. Others are saying it may go all the way down to 9,000. It's all speculation. If you are just buying steadily, week in, week out, or even on a monthly basis, it doesn't really matter long term, because if you believe that these cryptos are going to be much higher than they are now, then it doesn't really matter if you buy a few dollars up and down here and there.
Yeah, the old dollar cost averaging.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think I haven't looked into this, but what I'd be interested to know is there's also so Ethereum has layer 2 solutions. That was a lot we talked about in some previous podcasts.
Yeah.
Which is basically these kind of second layers built on top of Ethereum for people to transact on, swap coins, do other things in the future that had much lower gas fees, basically, but was still secured by the Ethereum network. And I read that Bitcoin is also getting layer 2 stuff being developed. It just was, the information about it was far more kind of hard to understand. It felt like it wasn't as far along as the Ethereum's. Like the Ethereum development just seems to go rapidly, and there was like multiple, like 5 or more different layer 2s competing. But from what I read, it did sound like there would be layer 2 solutions for Bitcoin, and I don't know whether that just would enable sort of more privacy focused things, or whether it would enable the Bitcoin network to do stuff like Ethereum. But
I mean, some vendors, it seems, have actually started using the Lightning Network, which some would consider to be a layer 2 solution on Bitcoin. But the sort of layer 2 protocols on Bitcoin have not had the same sort of traction that we have seen on Ethereum. Perhaps because I've seen discussions online that say, the developers working on Bitcoin right now are a bit toxic. They're not willing to listen to what people actually want, and they're just building out to compete with Ethereum. There's Bitcoin maxis and there's Ethereum maxis, and they don't seem to get along. I just wish that they would get along, because then we would see better technology being implemented on both sort of platforms. But yeah, Lightning Network is gaining traction, but not to the extent that we see on Ethereum.
And how do you still think of Bitcoin as kind of a currency, a store of value, and Ethereum is sort of like it was called like the kind of decentralized computer, wasn't it? That you could build other applications on. Do you think those kind of metaphors are still?
So yeah, a lot of people argue that Bitcoin is like is digital gold, and some others argue that it's going to replace the US dollar. Personally, I don't think it's going to replace the US dollar. I think if that was to happen, or it would be not in our lifetimes. I think that we're way off from Bitcoin taking over the whole global financial system. But again, Bitcoin maxis believe that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. I just don't think that. I think it's going to be an alternative. Just like gold, just like silver, some people may put money into Bitcoin as a means of diversifying their portfolio, and I think is how it's going to be for the time being, unless something drastic changes and we see that a world war starts and we see people trying to escape the US dollar and into something like Bitcoin. We'll have to wait and see.
But you'd need to be able to buy stuff with Bitcoin, but I guess
which is quite limited right now. Your options are very limited.
Yeah, and I would need social wallets or something that didn't require me to remember like the hugely long password phrases, because I just hate that aspect of it. For sure. I don't like being fully responsible for my own money. Because the house might burn down or something. Not that I keep my millions and millions dollars worth of Bitcoin passwords in my house.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to finish on today's
not really. I think we covered everything, all the important parts. I think it's just good to keep an eye, if you are actively trading, just keep an eye on headlines related to the cost of living crisis and the Ukraine situation, and just keep informed as much as possible.
Yeah, and I guess that maybe it's good to finish on as well that like a lot of the crypto news has been very negative recently because of because of the markets being down. But this is actually like the Ethereum merge actually happening is a very positive piece of news for.
Yeah, man, it's a long time coming as well.
Yeah, it's been like it feels like years and years they've been talking about it.
Yeah,
and it's happening next week. So
hopefully, yeah.
Let's see if Ethereum just collapses. Doesn't work. On that note, thank you very much for your time today, Kash.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been awesome chatting with you.
Yeah, it's good to chat to you. We haven't done it for like a month, and next time I'll drink a fizzy drink beforehand and come armed with extra energy. And thank you to our listeners. If anyone made it this far today, if you have any questions for us, or topics you want to talk about, drop us a YouTube comment, send us an email. We always appreciate anybody who likes the videos, or subscribe if you want more. And that's it. Kash, have you got a slogan?
Like, comment, and subscribe. That's it.
That's it. Standard. Very unique. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Kash, and
thank you.
Goodbye to everyone.
Bye.
Bye.